Hello and welcome to the table. I'm Mark Windle.
I'm Steve Rain.
And I'm Jonathan Hicks.
And welcome to my first 10 of my top 30 games of all time. Woo! 30 through 21. It's finally here. It's got preceded by the top 10 games of the year, as you've probably already seen, so you might see a little bit of overlap in there as you'll be able to work them out, but hopefully we've managed to hide them enough. So I got the lucky job of actually getting the last set, which is always the best because I get to see more of the year. Mine's fall just slightly after Christmas, so games that like Steve and Jonathan would have included in their list possibly, maybe.
There's at least 3 I think that would have made my top 30 since then.
It's just the nature of the Essen rush means that me getting that extra few weeks is actually really handy for me. And I think it's also given me time to digest a few games that I don't think would have got as high up there as it did in the end. They've kind of moved on. I've played a bit more and gone, actually I like these more than I thought I did.
Some games you need to play a few times, don't you? Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we start on number 30.
Number 30.
So talking about games that I think I enjoyed more now that I've thought back on them, my first one is Teotihuacan. And I like this because I like the fact that I can see what's going on the board and the variation on strategies and the fact that I can see the strategies happening as each player does them. As I've said in a previous video, a lot of games where somebody goes on their strategy, they just do that strategy for the game. That is their strategy, their aim. While this, because of the nature of the way points decrease on strategies or you're moving around the rondelle system, you need to be a bit more fluid and always be aware of what the people are doing. I like that level of interaction. I think also compared to you guys, I prefer it being slightly looser than similar ones, similar games. It's not as tight. And I think for me it made it a little bit less stressful than Simrish games could be. So yeah, I gave it a decent rating when we did the review a couple of months now. I think I've got to play it once more since. I think I enjoyed it more the second time round. And I think generally, I think it's improved in my opinion.
It's generally less harsh than some of the other games, especially the ones where you have to feed your workers. You never seem to struggle too much here because you always get that one last action. You know you're going to get one more action before feeding in Teotihuacan.
The cocoa is still very hard to come by, I found.
It is.
Spend it on the spaces when you take the actions, don't you?
And that's the kind of thing when Mark says that you're trying to be fluid, and you're trying to be fluid in such a way that you're taking the actions that no one else is taking. Because if you can go there, it's free for you the first time you go there if there's no one else on that spot. Whereas if you just try and do the same thing and other people start joining in, well, it's just going to be too expensive for you.
I like it being a game of opportunities at times. Sometimes what you plan to do is better just doing something else because it works better at that point in time.
Yeah, I think I prefer Tolkien. I don't know why. Like I said, like you said in the other video, they don't feel similar
thematically, but
they have the same theme. But other than that, the mechanics and even the temples work differently.
They are about timing, but they're very different sort of timings. One's a rondelle, the others.
You still have to plan ahead, but I think it's easier to not get done in with Teotihuacan.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Tzolk'in's a much more original, unique game. But I think I always find Tzolk'in just a little bit too stressful, a little bit just too much going on for me.
I can see that. Yeah.
Number 29.
So this one for me, I think, is my favourite current Hidden Roles game. But it's not a game centred around hidden roles, and that's Werewords. It just catches me. It covers that kind of people are working against you in like a light hidden role sort of thing. But I like all the central mechanism of actually just guessing the words.
Yeah, it's the magic word that everyone's trying to guess.
Yeah, and I think those two were... I didn't think I'd like it as much as I did. I mean, what was the game that was initially based on? Insider. But this is just so much better because of the roles working against you. You can add the extra little roles, but you don't need to. Just having one person working against you is more than enough.
It's sometimes just nice to be a regular villager and just have the puzzle of trying to work out the word.
Yeah, that's my favourite role.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
You play one ultimate werewolf, you get the villager and go, oh, I'm the villager. And there's my...
Everyone else is having fun and I just spend the whole night...
I close my eyes. Well, in this, guessing the word and therefore guessing who's working against you against the word is equally... It's just as fun. And so I like that. I think as a package, as that sort of hidden role game, it's nice. It all works. It's nice simple. You have loads of the people, but it's into complex. But there's enough for a gamer in there to go, you're a bit dodgy.
I think it's great, and you can play it with anyone as well. You can play it with any level of gamer.
I played it with my family over Christmas, and it just works really well. You know, particularly with extended family, word games are often a bit more palatable for the older generation, but this gives you the fun for the kids, if you like, as well. It just brought them all together really well.
Good pick.
Number 28.
So my number 28 returns to the same spot as it did last year, and that's Mythos Tales, which I'm just saying Mythos Tales, not Mythos Tales Consulting Detective. Just Mythos Tales, which is, like Consulting Detective, a solver mystery sort of game, but it's in the proper Arkham Lovecraftian universe, and it captures that much better than a lot of the board games centered around it, because you can't go and kill the monsters; they will eat you. And so, and it's quite simple. But I like mystery games. I like murder mysteries and that sort of things. And so, the slight horror theme, I think I just like the flavour of it a little bit more. Plus, it's got a nice time of day mechanism that you don't get in those. So this person may only be in the house during the morning. So and as you know, you move through the days. That does affect it. So it adds that a little bit more to it. Yeah, I like these styles of games, and this is my favourite.
I played the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective quite a bit. I've not played the new Mythos Tales though, but you reckon it's essentially the same game but better? They've just improved on a few things.
Sherlock Holmes had the problem that you could see people in the wrong order, and you go see someone else, and they'd tell you something that you already knew. Yes. I think potentially.
I think you can still get that in this, because it's still a book of a list of numbers, but there are things that can affect it.
It's going to be better, isn't it? Because it is the second go at it.
Yeah.
The Consulting Detective is first, Mythos Tales is going to be just better. I mean, Sherlock Holmes didn't have like spelling mistakes and stuff in the
there was tons in the text, so they're a little bit better at that.
And going down at daytime and nighttime, although I haven't played it, seems a really nice way of doing it. You're like, do we go and see that person now or in the morning? Because you might get different information or meet different people.
You can also get items, essentially. Not many, but you might get a key or something, so you can only access if you've got item A, which is how it handles it. It just handles it a little bit better. It's still not handled necessarily as well as more modern things of that style of game that have come out this year.
That use apps and stuff.
Yes, but I think I prefer the theme more so than those. And I actually think with the app ones, with both ones I played, I've ended up having things I disliked about them as well. So it came down to this is still my preferred one.
Okay.
Number 27.
So we're returning to Lovecraftian lore, to a game that's dropped a reasonable amount since the last time we've done it, and that is Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition. So I still like this. I don't play it as much because it's still a bit of a beast of a game, but I do like the app integration. This is by far the best I've seen any board game, hands down. The fact that I'm uncovering the map and the fact that the game, the scenarios can change between different times of playing, people can be in different rooms, things like that. I've just never seen something integrate between a board and like the app so well as this. Without that, the app, this wouldn't be half the game it is, but as it is, it's as an exploration game and a horror game, it works really, really well.
It does a great job of providing a sense of adventure. It's like, we'll explore this direction and see what we get. And as you say, even with replays, the map's not necessarily the same because the app is kind of randomly generated. It's not randomly, but it's using an algorithm, if you like, to work out various possibilities that could be plausible. So it's really involving. I mean, I love the theme. I love the whole Arkham horror style Cthulhu theme. And this really puts you there. It's mechanically, it's fine. I don't think there's anything wonderful. But yes, in terms of the app, which plays music as well, which I really like, it does really put you there. It's great.
I just wish that when you enter a new room, rather than it be slow, like, here's the room, here's this item, here's this item, it was just going to just show it. It would speed up building the room so much.
Here it is, set it up.
Yeah. But I just don't think you're going to find, other than maybe the app with Descent 2nd Edition, there's not really anything. I know they've done the Star Wars one now, but I think because the exploration is best in the horror or this sort of style, explore a mansion, like Resident Evil style, I'm going around a mansion, like that sort of thing. I think that works better for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Number 26.
Okay, so now for one that we've all definitely played, and it was probably, certainly for the first half of the year, the biggest played game in the cafe by our group. Guy Project, yeah. The sequel, successor, improvement, all around, well, generally better than Terra Mystica. Yeah, it's just such a solid Euro game. But for me, the bit that makes it better is the fact the races are more varied between each of them. The actual learning of the races is much more interesting. The trickiness is the fact that you always want to play a new race, but on the other hand, you really should go back and replay the one you now know how to play.
Yeah.
I even like, as a strange thing, because the theme is important to me, I actually think the space makes more sense.
I was about to say the same thing.
Because
I prefer the space theme, even though fantasy theme might generally pull me in more than space.
why could a man not live in woods? Well, because you can't in Terra Mystica.
But you're aliens who might not be able to live on a certain type of
Yes.
planet.
Yeah, yeah.
It kind of makes sense, yeah.
I like the spatial aspect a little bit more. The fact you can be less blocked off, but it also makes more sense as you're hopping between planets. So the actual space is, you care about more. I need to be able to travel this distance.
You can't get blocked in, you can always get out if you have enough
Yeah.
cubes.
Yes, it just becomes more and more difficult, doesn't it, to make those
I guess
bigger
until you hit
jumps.
right at the end, maybe when the map starts getting particularly crowded. But by that point, you should be doing something else, hopefully, to score your points.
It's one of my top 2 Euro games of all time. I think it's fantastic, and I think it has replaced Terra Mystica for me, because it's just better.
It's in my top 10 games of all time. As Euros go, yeah, it's superb. If you like heavy Euros, you need to play this one.
Number 25.
And we return to Lovecraftian games again. But this one is very different, and in its own sort of way, quite a bizarre game.
Study Animal?
Yeah, it's a studied animal to get an old favourite of mine, which just keeps making me want to come back and play more. Yeah, so it's a deck building, hidden role, sort of larger game.
It's the hidden team.
Yeah,
thing,
hidden
isn't it?
team role. Yeah, I think that it's just such a unique combination. Actually, not to bother the fact that it's Lovecraftian, it just happens to be Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
It could be a different theme. It'd work equally as
It
well.
works.
Spice would be quite
I think
cool.
Lovecraftian theme actually works.
I think you could put lots of other themes on top of it, though,
Okay.
and it'd still work fine.
There would be some themes that wouldn't want me to play it then.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You are take thatting a lot, potentially, if you put the wrong theme on it.
But the fact, it's the team, you perhaps need to explain it, is the fact that you've got these 2 hidden teams and you don't necessarily know who else is on your team. So it's like, you don't necessarily want to hurt someone if they're on your team. You want to help the people who are on your team, but how do you know if they're on your team? Is that...
That's the sort of thing one of my teammates are doing, but is that one of the other teammates bluffing so that I don't pick... Oh, I mean, just... I had a game won once for about 3 turns, 3 rounds. I'm like, I could end the game now, but I'm pretty sure... Yeah, Sarah's definitely on my team. She's played definitely on my team. So, oh, no, I can't do that. I'll lose now if I do that. And then things changed. I thought, brilliant, yeah, I'll end the game now. And the person in last was then on my team, and so they've been mine the whole way through. So she didn't win, because the way it works is that the winner, first of all, the person in last place eliminates their team.
Yeah.
And then the winner is the highest placed person on the other team, the remaining team. I don't see that in any other game.
No.
And it's that uniqueness that makes it different to me. I like the fact that it feels different. I'm just doing different
And
things.
it's nice to play with an odd number of players. So if you play with 5, you've got 3 versus 2, but you don't know if you're on the 3 or the 2.
Yeah.
So you have to be super careful.
You can be, I think, it's like in 4 players, you can be a 3 and a 1. I think that's really hard.
Well, no, because as long as you're not last as the 1, you win.
You just need to make sure you
You just need to make sure you're not last. If you think you're the 1, you pretend you're on that team. You do exactly what their team does. Make sure you're not last, and you can win.
Yeah,
It's really
a bit weird.
interesting. And if you haven't played it, just even if it's not your sort of thing, that kind of uncertainty about your allegiances is just it's great.
Number 24.
So this one is my current favourite word game, and that's the Crypt Oath, which featured well within our top of 2018. It's the way that it works as teams, and the fact that the information I give from my team is helping my opponent's team. And as your options slowly condense down, it becomes heavier and harder, and it becomes more stressful. And I think that's what's more interesting about it. Even in Codenames, if you're losing, you think, oh, just go for a risk. You never get particularly. I don't ever feel invested in Codenames when I'm playing a team. It's an activity, it's fun, but I don't feel invested. Well, I want my team to win. I want us to win, but I need to give you a clue that's going to help you guys and not those guys. And so I'm hurting you to hurt them, if you know what I mean. And that balance of that's really fun.
I think Codenames is very good at linking words together with clever clues. But the clues are so much cleverer than you're purposefully trying to find the hidden meanings between English words. And there's loads of them because it's English. And you're doing it in such a way that you're trying to lead someone down a false path. You're trying to aim there. It's clue 1. And you're trying to do that for every single clue you're doing, and you're just trying to mess them up. It's great.
No, I really enjoy this one. It's a heavier word game, so you need to bear that in mind. But if you like your heavier games and you like word games, this is the best of the bunch.
It's the best team versus team game I think generally.
Yeah.
I can remember you had Crosstalk, which is similar-ish.
And it's almost as good, I think.
But you can't pick them both.
No,
That's what you could do if you want to. But I prefer this between the two of them. I also think it's a little bit less complex than Crosstalk without having the board of clues. I think it keeps it a little bit cleaner.
It's hard to explain.
Yes,
but it's easier to play.
It's hard to explain how to fill out the notepad, the actual information of you're doing this.
Once you've done one, got it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
But yeah.
Number 23.
So We As a Three are well known for our love of escape room games, and this is my first entry in my top 30. And that's Unlock, the non-destructive escape room game of choice. I really like the escape room games. It's worked really well, some of them, but it's going to sound negative about it here, but it's here because I didn't enjoy the last set as much as I did the previous two sets. In fact, if I'm being honest, I really enjoyed the first set. The middle set I enjoyed, but not as much, and the last set I could have taken and left in the end, I think. But it's still an escape room game, and therefore while I'm actually physically playing it, I'm still loving and lapping up every bit of it. But it just feels like this one for me is on a slight slide, and therefore that's why it's slightly slid down on my list.
I agree. I agree with everything you say. I think they're fantastic experiences, but Unlock has got worse, whereas others have got better.
Yeah. But they're still really, really good.
Yeah. Which is why they're in the top 30.
Yeah. If Unlock was the only escape room game out there, we'd be like, oh yeah, Unlock is great.
And in the long term, Unlock's actually going to get more play across the country because they're replayable. You can have the set and you can pass it on, and I can play the set, and you can play my set, and he can play my set, and she can play my set. Okay, and then that one set has got loads of people playing. Whereas Exit, you buy it, you destroy it, you have to buy another one. You can't pass it on.
Yeah.
So I think Unlock might actually be more played than some of the other ones because of that reason. But yeah, I think they're great, and one of my best ever escape rooms is Unlock. The best ever one I've done.
Yeah, that's true.
Number 22.
So this one for me is the current BG top one, and that's Gloomhaven. Yep, it's still for me probably my favourite dungeon crawl I've ever played. The mechanisms of the card play interlinked with the fact that the exploration of the world and going and like just learning like sort of like Elder Scrolls. I'm going to this location now available for me to appears and stuff like that. So that the exploration be outside of just the physical board is I find much more enjoyable, let alone the game itself. I've just played a lot of it. Ultimately, I think I've played 40 scenarios, and at some point you kind of go, I just don't want to set another board up. It is quite a bit set up. There's a lot of tile pieces. To be able to have so many scenarios, you need a lot of tile pieces, like 50, 60, God knows how many are in that box. So it is a bit of, we're doing this one, this one, this one, this one, you kind of sort of do. But at some point, you kind of start just playing a game out, and I think I've kind of hitting that level with it, is the fact that I really like it, but I have played it so much. There's only so many different things that can do scenarios, and ultimately I think I'm hitting that limit.
I really liked it. The mechanisms with the card play are really interesting and very thinky. It's much heavier than it first appears. It's not a light dungeon crawl by any means. The reason I haven't played the campaign. I wasn't really interested to go through 40 odd games of this, and I think because having watched quite a lot of other people play it, it just looks very samey in that most of the time you set up your dungeon crawl and you go through the dungeon fighting, killing the monsters and getting the treasure. How would you respond to that? I mean, is it very samey?
I think there are variations within some of the scenarios, but a lot of it is still essentially optimising me killing things in a dungeon. Whether I need to get to a different point or whatever I'm doing, you're still having to optimise every turn, so it's very similar optimisation. Yeah. I think the strength of it is the levelling up system is quite cool. As you get new cards into your deck, you do generally feel a lot stronger the further you get through it.
Okay.
Your cards are much better at level 4 than they were at level 1. As in, you'll get often improved versions, and they are a lot improved. And also, because you get the 2-card system, you might, on the level 1 version, you might get a good half and a not so good half. Both halves will be really good, but then you've got the difficult decision of how do I play them? Because you're only going to get to do one top and one bottom. But yeah, ultimately, you're still in the last game. You're doing similar-ish things to the first game, and so at some point you've just kind of killed enough different monsters, and you just kind of need to do something different.
Not played it. It's some of the games they talk about, and they think, I might actually like a go at this. Not this one. It's just.
Number 21.
So we're rounding up this first list with The Seventh Continent, which is another game that's fallen slightly. I think it's the best game of its type of exploration and just feeling like I'm exploring a whole world and how you feel going around it. The islands are great. It has that almost lost feeling at times from the TV series of this is a bit weird, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Different scenarios play really well. I've had loads of fun playing it, but as I think I've said in a previous video, the reason it's dropped a little bit is I don't really like saving it. So it feels like a game I have to leave out on my table because there's an actual negative for saving, you costing yourself actions which hurt you in the long run. So you always are better just leaving it out, and you want to do it in one run. And also I like less the fact if I die, I have to kind of start from the start. I've already seen this bit. I don't want to re-see this bit. I want to I want to explore new things. So I kind of just accept I've died and then start fresh at the same point. And I enjoy that. As in, I've got this 7 scenarios in the base game with the extra ones you got in the Kickstarter. Did the expansion come in, and I'm gonna quite happily play through them all and just see them all once because I've still will have seen hundreds of hours worth of content.
Yeah.
I don't need to do the same 20 hours repeated until to just about get a bit further. But yeah, I can't think of any other game on the market that offers this sort of experience as well.
Yeah, I mean, you said it's the best game of its type, but I'm struggling to think of any other game that is of its type. It's really quite unique.
Yeah.
It does the choose your own adventure thing spatially on a map, which is so nice. It's a fantastic game. I love it.
Do you think it's the best game to play single player?
If you want adventure, maybe.
Because that sounds like all you're describing, no point in you interacting with other people.
You don't really need other people for this.
Yeah,
sure.
so it feels like it's not set for one player, but it feels like it could be the best. I mean, because if I'm at home, I don't have to bring it to a group to play it.
No.
It's a game you play at home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you like you say, leave it out.
It's a really hard game to play, unless you're going to meet repeatedly and then keep saving, take your bag, come back, reset up.
So I have played it. I've played it once, and it is a phenomenal game. The idea behind it, but it's not something I want to invest that level of time. A bit like you with Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
I would have to dedicate a lot of time with the same group to go to someone's house and to play this. And I just don't think I have the effort and energy.
And I think for you, the interest lies in mechanisms, whereas the mechanisms is, although they're really nice, there's not a huge amount of depth to it. It's more about exploring.
No,
and discovering.
I actually quite liked it when I played it. I didn't mind it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was because it was unique. It hooked me. Although it hooked me in a way that I'm like, yeah, that's great, but I haven't got the time. I haven't got the time for an expedition, so I know I'm not going to.
I wonder if they could do an equivalent that's shorter that maybe fits into. It's still going to be a longer game.
If you shorten it, you lose the specialty of it.
Yeah, although you could have
that
little
first
scenarios. Yeah, that's right. That introductory scenario that comes through there.
Which is what I did.
Yeah.
They could do more of those.
Well, we didn't even finish it.
No. It's difficult because I say introductory scenario. Really, when you start the first scenario, it then carries on going through the main continent. There's a natural place to stop, which is what we did. but there's hours and hours of that first scenario still after you finished. But you you completely know what the game is like after you've played that introductory section.
Yeah, it was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a laugh when I got hit by something and no one else. No, Steve, you go and do it by yourself. I'm like, all right, yeah, did that. I got wounded, and everyone laughed at me. I'm like, okay, fine. It was fun. It didn't bother me. It was good. But it feels like something you could solo.
I don't think it would hurt it much. There are some you can help other players out, but I don't think
you could
that's
just solo
necessary
and play 2 players.
You could always take 2 characters, but honestly, I think you could do it with 1 character. I think it'd be fine.
It's designed for 1 character. It's one of the options. I don't know how well balanced it is.
Because it's the same game solo than with other people, isn't it? It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Whereas some solo games have an automata or have something else that adds into it.
Yeah, you don't need it.
So they were with my first 10 of my top 30 games. Any thoughts?
A lot of big thematic games there, I think.
Yes.
Looking through them, and a lot of Lovecraftian ones as well. There was at least 3.
Yeah, that's right.
The Arkham section of the list, isn't it?
Yeah. Can we look forward to Lovecraft Cthulhu? Love Letter Cthulhu. Damn it.
No, we can't.
No, okay.
No, I mean, I think there's some great picks in that list. Mark, we have different tastes in games, but we have a big chunk of cross-section.
Yeah, like an overlap.
So I don't think I disliked any of the games in that list. I thought they were all really solid games.
All the ones I played were.
Yeah, that might be a slight relief.
Well, I think your crossover is games you play at one another's house.
Yes.
That's true, we tend to play with each other, don't we?
Yeah, and so I'm always working.
By the nature of some of the games I think we might play, there'll be games that just aren't suited for a cafe environment.
Yeah,
whether it be too long or whether you need to pre-arrange a group to, we're going to play this today. While the cafe obviously more of a case of turn up, see what people have brought, so you have to work around that.
I understand.
Well, as I said, that's been my first 10. Please like and subscribe and let us know what you think. I mean, my list's going to be very different to his and fairly different to his, so I'd like to hear your opinions. And I've been Mark Windle.
See you, friends.
I'm Jonathan Hicks.
And we've been The Table.
See you later.
Bye.